Texans are facing a property tax crisis unlike anything seen in the country, and the numbers make it undeniable. Families opening their April 2024 tax bills were confronted with staggering increases, some rising 41% over just 5 years, while some homeowners have seen bills literally double from $6,000 to $12,000. Houston residents are paying 35% more, Austin homeowners up 40%, while Governor Greg Abbott promised the largest property tax cut in Texas history, totaling $18 billion. Many homeowners report little to no relief. Even after these cuts, property taxes rose $654 million in 2023 and jumped another $5.4 billion in 2024. Many families, including retirees on fixed incomes and essential workers like teachers, nurses, and police officers, are finding themselves priced out. The property tax system continues to punish those it should support. Tracy Williams, a rural retiree, saw taxes soar from under $500 to over $7,000. Homeowners across the state are feeling the strain as property taxes continue to climb at alarming rates. In Dallas County, for example, homes assessed at values more than double what they were in 2019, and for families like those in Dallas, a home that was worth $250,000 in 2020 is now appraised at $350,000. Tax bills that were once $5,000 have skyrocketed to $8,500, and San Antonio faces hikes of 30% or more. Statewide, median property taxes jumped from $3,900 in 2019 to $4,916 in 2023, a 26% increase. The total property tax levy across Texas hit $86.8 billion in 2024, up from $63.2 billion in 2018, a staggering 37% surge, wiping out any savings and leaving Texans frustrated and financially squeezed. The promise of Texas affordability has been undermined by the rapid rise in property taxes. For years, Texas touted no state income tax and lower living costs compared to states like California or New York. But the reality for homeowners tells a different story. Between 2019 and 2023, Texas home prices surged 38.8%. And because property taxes are based on appraised values, those increases directly translated into higher bills. Even families who weren't selling their homes faced doubled taxes simply because the value of their property skyrocketed. Dallas homeowners alone are paying roughly 41% more than 5 years ago, according to Redfin data. Insurance costs have also doubled in that same time frame, compounding the financial strain. Bills that once seemed manageable, like $6,000 annually, now approach $10,000 while incomes remain stagnant. Even with Abbott's historic relief, these families see little benefit because rising local levies and appraisal increases absorb any savings, illustrating how the property tax system continues to punish those it should support. Insurance added to the burden. Dallas County premiums more than doubled after events like the 2021 winter freeze, hurricanes, floods, and hail. Abbott's $18 billion relief failed to offset these pressures, as local rate hikes and home appreciation wiped out benefits, leaving homeowners trapped between soaring costs and limited income. Abbott's November 2023 relief package, touted as the largest in state history, aimed to ease the burden. Proposition 4 raised the homestead exemption from $40,000 to $100,000, cut school district tax rates by 10.7 cents per $100 valuation, and capped non-homestead value increases at 20% for 3 years. On paper, this promised savings, but reality proved different. When 2024 bills arrived, many homeowners saw increases as local governments raised rates to offset the relief. Harris County, Dallas County, and multiple school districts all increased levies, neutralizing Abbott's $18 billion package. Overall, property taxes rose $654 million in 2023 and $5.4 billion in 2024, a 6.6% jump, erasing any previous savings, as her 5-acre property climbed from $16,000 in 1996 to $350,000 in 2024. These cases show how local levies, appraisal spikes, and systemic growth pressures often overwhelm state efforts. Abbott's response highlights political complexity, but also the limits of state action. In February 2025, he convened Republican lawmakers in a closed-door meeting at the governor's mansion, discussing additional $10 billion cuts, voter approval for tax increases, and pointing to local governments as the primary culprits. Yet, the state itself drives much of the growth. The fundamental problem remains unconstrained spending growth at state and local levels. Without structural reform, even tens of billions in cuts will not prevent property taxes from continuing to rise, leaving homeowners squeezed by a system that compounds the effects of market-driven appreciation. Homeowners, once hopeful, now face the ongoing reality that without fundamental changes, the enduring issue is the structural mismatch between growth in public spending and revenue sources. State expenditures rose from $198.9 billion to $200 billion over several years, a rate doubling population, and inflation growth. As the state expands programs and imposes mandates, local governments must levy higher property taxes to comply, perpetuating the cycle of increasing costs for homeowners. These pressures underscore the structural nature of the crisis, where temporary relief without systemic reform merely delays inevitable increases and leaves homeowners financially exposed. Ultimately, Texas homeowners remain trapped in a cycle of escalating property taxes despite historic relief efforts. Abbott's public promises, while offering temporary respite, have not addressed the underlying causes: unchecked spending growth, escalating home values, and local governments exploiting loopholes. The future remains uncertain, with more increases likely as state and local systems continue expanding without restraint. Families across Texas, from retirees to essential workers, face mounting bills, eroded savings, and impossible choices, illustrating a system that prioritizes revenue growth over affordability. The crisis demonstrates that even high-profile interventions, like Abbott's $18 billion cut, cannot substitute for comprehensive fiscal reform and responsible spending management. For those watching this unfold, the reality is clear. Property taxes in Texas are a structural challenge with no easy fix, and homeowners must remain vigilant as the state navigates spending, growth, and relief programs. Understanding the scale of the problem is essential to making informed decisions about housing, finances, and advocacy. This story is far from over, and as future increases loom, leaving homeowners trapped between rising costs and stagnant wages. The tax system itself drives the problem. Without a state income tax, local governments fund schools, police, fire, roads, and parks through property taxes. Pandemic migration, bidding wars, and skyrocketing home values pushed appraisals up. In Dallas, the average homeowner now pays $6,840 annually. The national median is $2,877. Insurance makes matters worse. Yet in 2024, many saw bills rise again as local governments raised rates. Harris County, Dallas County, and multiple school districts all increased levies. Real families illustrate the crisis. Tracy Williams, a retiree, saw taxes jump from under $500 to $7,000. Relief packages exist but are often neutralized by local levies and rapid appraisals. Abbott admits limits. In February 2025, private meetings with Republican lawmakers revealed that full relief is impossible without raising other taxes or cutting services. Since 2018, $37.3 billion in state funds reduced local taxes. Yet local levies still increased $23.6 billion. Expanded programs, mandates, and rising salaries forced local districts to levy more, showing that even historic cuts cannot stop the growth. The crisis is structural. From 1998 to 2024, property taxes rose 364%, while population and inflation grew 149%. School district taxes alone increased 400%, the largest driver of growth. Homestead exemptions and relief shifts temporarily reduce bills but don't restrain overall growth. Without systemic reforms, property taxes will continue climbing. Political fallout is severe. In June 2025, Abbott signed additional bills in private, excluding homeowners, while leaked recordings admitted taxes cannot truly be fixed without raising other revenues. Families feel misled and trust erodes. Temporary relief cannot overcome structural spending pressures, and the cycle of rising taxes continues. Homeowners face impossible choices: sell to escape crushing bills, or stay and accept financial strain. Rising home values, local rate hikes, and growing state spending ensure that property taxes will continue to rise, highlighting a system that punishes families, despite historic relief efforts. The story of Texas property taxes is far from over. Families remain under pressure as home values climb and local governments exploit loopholes. For ongoing coverage of property tax increases, broken promises, and real families impacted, stay informed. Subscribe to follow this crisis as it unfolds seamlessly.